So welcome back to the gingerbread man, gingerbread boy drawing. We're going to color it today. We're going to use some crayons. And the crayons that I've chosen are the 16 Crayola crayon box. This is a nice big crayon that I like to use. It's very comfortable. It's good for big hands and good for small hands. They tend to break, crayons tend to break easy, you know, when you push on them. But these guys, they don't. They last a little longer. And even if they break, you know, don't throw broken crayons away. You should keep your broken crayons because you can still use them. For our gingerbread man, we're going to be doing some mixing. So we're going to be using colors like yellow orange. If you don't have yellow orange, you just have regular orange, that's fine. I'm going to need brown. We're going to need yellow, green, and red. Bring out your pink and your white, and I think we'll be all set. If we need any of these guys, well, we'll call them back. But for now, let's roll you guys out, and we'll bring you in one by one. All right, so if you saw my last video and you drew your gingerbread man, then you're ready for coloring. If not, go back to the drawing video and start your drawing, finish it up, and then come back so that we can color it together. I'm going to start off with my brown, and that's the color that I'm going to use on the body of the gingerbread man. I'm going to color him all brown first, and then I'm going to blend in yellow orange. So let's get started. You can start at the bottom, or you can start at the top, wherever you like. I like to start off with my dark colors. In this case, I did a little bit of experimenting, and I noticed that using the brown first, which is the darker color between the orange and the brown, using the dark first, this brown, and then later the orange gave a better result. Before you blend any colors, it's nice to have a little piece of paper on the side and see which blends first, which blends better, blending the darker color first or blending the lighter color. Now, I'm not just going to use brown. I'm going to use, brown and orange. I'm going to use brown, orange, and maybe throw in a little bit of yellow in there. Notice I'm not putting a lot of pressure. I'm going to put more pressure when I put on the orange. If I put a lot of pressure with my brown first, then I'm going to have a lot of trouble putting down the orange because the brown will become too strong on the paper. So if you notice, it's very light, and you can almost see the white right behind, right on the, oh, you can't almost, you can actually see the color of the paper between the crayon color. I like to start from the bottom sometimes. Sometimes I'll start from the top. It really doesn't matter. I've got friends, artist friends, who start from the bottom and then they jump to the top and then they go to the left and then they go to the right, and that's fine too. You can work however you like in whatever order, because you're going to get to the same place, right? The end. Color carefully around the mouth. Color carefully around the eyes, because those areas are going to be white. If you get a little color in there, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but you want to try to leave it as white as possible. See, I got a little bit here and a little bit there. So when you do it, you try to be a little more careful. If you're using the smaller crayons, it'll be easier to color in the tighter areas, in the tighter spots. So we're almost done with the eye. And we're done with our brown. All right, that looks good. Now let's bring in our orange. I chose yellow orange. You can go with regular orange if you like. It's just a little bit darker, regular orange. I'm going with this lighter orange. I'm putting a little more pressure than I did with the brown. I want the brown to not be so strong, so that now when I put the orange on top, it fits in between the places that the brown didn't make. The brown didn't get to go into. And we see that beautiful orangey brown gingerbread type color starting to appear. If you break your crayons, I was talking about that earlier. If you break your crayon, I know it's very frustrating because nobody wants broken crayons, because then you have to go put them back in the box and they tend to fall into those little holes, they disappear. You can have a separate little box just for broken crayons. Don't throw them away, because broken crayons can be used. You can just remove the paper on the broken one, on the broken sides, and you can use them. I use them a lot in class. In our art class, we don't throw away broken crayons. Actually, we use them. If we were to throw away every crayon that broke, we wouldn't have any crayons left. And some of my favorite crayons to use are some broken crayons, because I can use the sides of the crayon. Imagine if this was a broken crayon, I could use the side to color a wider area. And they're very good for blending. Yeah, they tend to be smaller, I know, and sometimes because they're broken, it's hard to tell the difference between a dark purple and a black or a dark blue. But we can always use a test paper, right? A little test paper will help us to figure out what color it is. So keep your broken crayons. You can use them. And now my yellow. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow to get into all those little white spaces that the brown and the orange didn't cover. So try to squeeze it in there. Put a little more pressure than you did with the orange. When I say pressure, I mean pushing it down on the paper a little bit. When we blend, we make our artwork come to life. It really looks a lot better when we put several colors into the artwork. What happens is this: in real life, everything has more than one color. Not because they might necessarily have different colors, but the effect of light and shadow tends to darken some colors and lighten other parts of objects. And other things have a multitude of colors, like human skin, for example. Human skin is not just one color. There's different colors all over the human skin. And if we just color, for example, a person, we just color him peach, or color her skin peach, we kind of like make them look fake. They're not realistic looking. So on everything, try to blend colors. Try to mix different colors to get some nice effects. I know we've been starting from the bottom, and I want to continue starting from the bottom. You might want to start from coloring the objects in the face, but I want to start with the buttons. Now, we can do buttons in one single color, or we can change them. I'm going to stick to one color. Now, I know I didn't say this earlier, but now that I'm looking at my crayon box, I notice I have a darker green. This is regular green, and this is a yellow green. So this is a lighter green, right? It has a little more yellow than this green. So I'm gonna trace a line around each button. Trace a line in green. Color each one very lightly in green. Then I'm gonna come in with my yellow green, go over that line that I traced, and then bring it in. But don't color all the way to the center. Leave the center without a little bit of color, so that you can bring your yellow and throw it right into the center. So if you notice, I used 3 colors. First dark green, then yellow green, and then yellow. Kind of like a little mountain of color, right? All right. Now let's do the bow. Let's do the same thing with the bow that we did with the buttons. I'm going to get this red violet. I know I didn't pull out the red violet at the beginning, but when I look back at the box, I got the idea to use a dark color to trace. And I'm sure you noticed with the greens that the 3 colors that I chose are a little bit related, right? They're kind of in the same family. To make green, you need blue and yellow, right? Blue and yellow, they make green. So yellow is part of green. And this green, this yellow green, is a mix between this green and this green. So the three colors are related. Now, what three colors can we put together for our bow if it's going to be red? Well, these are three colors that are related in our crayon box. Red violet, the darkest one, red, and pink, the lightest one. All right, so we already put the darkest one. So let's go ahead and put the medium one. I'm gonna take my red, just like I did with my green, my lime green, over the green, and go over the violet. And then I'm gonna color red. This red and the greens are the color of the bow and the buttons, right? So I'm gonna use mostly red. So I'm gonna put a lot of red in there, but not pressing it too hard. You can still see that the paper is there, right? You can see through the paper. Now my pink on top of that red. And there we have our bow. I'm gonna go back and put a little bit of red at the bottom. A little more red. Just at the bottom half. To make the top of the bow look like it's lighter and the bottom darker. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do it to my buttons too. Put a little bit of green at the bottom. And that gives the illusion of volume. That makes the viewer think that these objects are in 3 dimensions. Now our nose, any color. You can put any color for your nose. I'm gonna go with my blues. I'm just gonna use, you know what? I don't have light blue. I do not have light blue in this set. So I'm gonna go with this blue-green and my blue. I noticed that my blue-green is a little lighter than the blue. Since I don't have a light blue, I'm gonna kind of cheat, and I'm gonna grab this white. Now you notice that the white has a little bit of red. I'm gonna pull out that red. You can use a piece of paper. I'm gonna bring out my little sketch paper, and you can clean up your crayons so that I don't put any red on that blue nose. And now I'm gonna blend that white in there. How's that? Does that look nice? Good. And I'm going to keep that blue for the eyes. I'm going to use that same blue combination, which is my regular blue, my blue-green, and my white. I'm going to put a little bit of white there at the end. All right. Now, as you know, we're not finished, right? We've got to do the last thing, which is trace. Tracing with our black. All I'm going to do is I'm going to start tracing all the lines that I drew with pencil. I'm going to start from the inside out. So starting with the bow, trace all my pencil lines, then going to my buttons, now this mouth is going to be a little bit of a problem. So I'm going to do a little bit of cheating. Don't tell the teacher. I'm going to get, and I know this looks weird. This is not anything more than a regular color pencil. This is just like this, right? This is a color pencil. But this is a special color pencil that I got in an art store. And it doesn't have any wood. It's just all color pencil. And I put a little point on it, but I don't like that point. I want it to be even sharper. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my sharpener. I use one of these sharpeners, but you can use this one. This one works just as good. But I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use this one. Sorry about the arm there. I'm going to use this one because I want to be able to see how sharp it gets. I want to see the point. I want to get a nice sharp point. These are really nice. If you go to the art store and you find woodless, they're called woodless color pencils. They're not bad. I like them. I don't use them all the time because I tend to break them. Believe it or not, this is not that strong. It's kind of soft. So you have to be very, very careful. So now I got the point that I want, and I'm going to go in there. And I don't know if I've told you, but crayons and colored pencils are very similar in the way they are, in what they're made of. So they can work together happily. If I were to use paint here, that would be kind of a problem, right? Paint and water and crayons, they're not very close in the materials that are used to make them. But color pencils and crayons, I like to call them cousins. So they have a nice relationship. You can use color pencils and crayons anytime you want. Since I have my color pencil already sharpened and I'm here, I'm going to do that same tracing around the eyes. Okay, so I'm going to put my color pencil away because the rest I want to make sure I use my crayon. I don't want to turn it now into a half color pencil, half crayon drawing. I just used it for this very delicate area around the mouth. Thank you very much, color pencil. All right, back to the crayon. Before my black gets jealous that I'm using my color pencils. Trace my eyes, the nose, now the head. If you do a little wavy line, you add a couple of little bumps here and there, he's going to look very realistic. Don't consider those mistakes. Our feet. Turn them aside just a little bit. And there we are. There is our gingerbread boy or gingerbread man. I hope you liked the gingerbread drawing. Up next, we're going to make a gingerbread girl. So if you want to keep working on gingerbread, make sure you come back to the next video. If you subscribe to my channel, then you'll be able to get an immediate message when the video is uploaded. So if you like it, make sure you leave a comment below, and thumbs up are always good. All right, so see you in the next artwork.